for Reggie. He was determined Seth would not suffer the same fate as his old friend. The Stalker Queen and a fresh brood of eggs. Reggie supposed this was a good reason for the train late today. Together, Rat and Mole felled the Stalker Queen. Seb swore to get the tram working again single pod, in thanks for Reggie's help. Reggie was just happy to have made a new mole friend. Rabbits of White Whiskers had sent their most agile warrior. It would take more than a hop and a skip to overcome the formidable Gray Ears. put up a hearty challenge, but his grand hops were no match for Reggie's iron will. Captain Blacktail, a treacherous pirate, notorious for his adventures across the three seas. Reggie wondered if he was as fearsome on land. Scurvy sea rat put up a good fight, but Reggie thought the captain might be better off sticking to the ocean. Dennis had returned with a vengeance, fully armed to the whiskers. He'd already lost one tournament and was determined he wouldn't lose another. Once again felt the bitterness of defeat at his younger brother's paws. was an old... Admitting defeat, Reggie knew he had passed the old rat's challenge. The young rat truly was the people's king. A fitting reward for winning the tournament, Reggie was presented with the King's Key. It's a good thing Doug had eventually found it, as Reggie had been sorely tempted to break the lock himself. But as they say, curiosity kills the rat. The king's chamber smelled of fresh lilac and gooseberries, while the bed glistened with crisp silk sheets. Strangely, a slight breeze blew from behind the bookcase. Reggie was greeted by the squirrel guide Zazu at the forest edge. She'd been sent to show the king the way to the festival, a secret path known only by squirrel folk. The forest was not at all what the young king expected. He'd heard the bright fir's golden leaves bathed the entire forest in light. There'd been no mention of these giant mushrooms that made the air heavy with spores. The bright fir's golden light fell on the forest clearing and caravans like an enchantment. The mood, though, was not festive, but worried. Zazu, embarrassed, explained the reason they asked the brave young king here was to plead for his help. The squirrel elder and a priest of the bright fir journeyed to the abandoned glimmer mines to harvest bright moss, and had not returned. With the golden light of the camp behind him, Reggie headed back out into the gloom in search of the mines. Signs were not promising. Outside the glimmer mines were vicious beetles. What had driven them from their cave home? The squirrel folk were in more danger than they knew. The squirrel elder's walking cane lying abandoned. If he didn't have it, Reggie wondered, how did he carry himself from this place? The rocks of the glimmer mines glowed with a blue light unlike anything Reggie had ever seen. Reggie wondered what the moles would make of this place. The squirrel elder's lifeless body lay on the floor, the priest at his side. Before Reggie could approach, he found out why they were trapped here. This was the nest of the beetle queen. Reggie approached the still body of the Squirrel Elder, the Squirrel Elder rose with a yelp. He'd been entranced from the ritual smoking of extra potent bright moss. Unaware, he almost became the Beetle Queen's snack. Thanking Reggie for the rescue, they headed back to begin the festival. This market stall sells all sorts of quality goods. A few coins spent here would spruce up the Crimson Keep nicely. With the Squirrel Elder back at the Bright Fir, with a tankard of bright sap in his paw, the Festival of Leaf's Fall could finally begin. No sooner had the Elder raised his cup into the air to begin his opening speech, came the clattering of wood and smashing of glass. To everyone's horror, a drunken squirrel had knocked over the table with the bright sap. The Festival of Leaf's Fall could not continue without the rare and sacred drink. The Squirrel Elder turned to Reggie, asking if the brave young king would again save their festival and venture into the shrine of the tapped root to collect more bright sap. In the maze of bright fir roots, the spores were so thick Reggie had to wear his gas mask. Was this infestation the reason the bright firs were dying?